Hello, welcome to the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon podcast. Today we have a special guest, Sharon Tan, with us. And I've known Sharon for quite some time. And a bit of background about Sharon. She is the Chief Everything Officer at Iconik Coworking Space, or Coworking Space based here in Petaling Jaya. And also she has a very wide range of experience. So she was also managing director of Cody International, and she's a true bred entrepreneur, right? The reason why I'm getting her today to actually interview her on this podcast is because of a previous podcast that I saw. She was on the Three Marketers show, and she shared her entrepreneurial journey from selling encyclopedias, doing sales, and then founding this company called AA International, Asia Assistance. And today I would like to invite her to the invited her to the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon podcast. So a bit about the Crouching Tiger. So welcome, Sharon.
Thank you for having me, Bob.
Yes, right. So a bit about the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon podcast. So I was just telling Sharon backstage what this podcast is about. So we always look up to a lot of business leaders in the West. So Crouching Tiger, as you know, is actually a Chinese idiom. In Chinese, we call it 卧虎藏龙. That means in Chinese, we have this thing that we like to be the hidden dragon. We like to be the dragon, but we like to be hidden. We don't like to be famous. We don't like to be celebrities. We like to be hidden dragon. So that's true, right? So
Yes.
it's like we like to be the, in the Chinese Kung Fu movie, you see suddenly this guy or unknown Kung Fu hero 40 years and suddenly come out from the cave and then can be very, very gay. That is what all Chinese want to be. We don't want to be the one already super famous. So what happens is, as Asians, we always look up to business leaders in the West. Name your Elon Musk, Gary Vee, Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs, whatever. But we don't really have Asian business leaders to look up to. So this is one of our first few episodes, and my plan is to get to know the stories of Asian business leaders. So welcome, Sharon. And okay, so let me get right into the questions. So Sharon, first question. So I mentioned that podcast, which is the Three Marketers podcast previously. So you can go to YouTube, search for Sharon Tan, Three Marketers. You can find that podcast. And very interesting backstory in that podcast. But so for our listeners here today, can you give us a quick recap of your career until today to Iconik?
Oh, okay. Thanks, Bob. Interesting. You mentioned that Three Marketeers podcast. I really had a lot of fun with the three guys. I mean, our common friend basically Andrew got me into that show, and I didn't really know what to expect, and they were quite good at making the guests at ease, and yeah, I shared with them my entrepreneur journey, and it started off with me knocking from door to door, selling encyclopedia, and well, encyclopedia today is basically a collector's item. It's a novelty item. So for those who are not familiar with what encyclopedia is basically a Google of yesteryears. It's just a volume of up to 36 volumes of books, which basically has a index that A to Z and things like that, so you can refer to the things that you need to understand. So I was basically I just finished school, and I was looking for a part-time job, and this job came about, and I thought, hey, I was just waiting for my result to get into the university, so why not just go and do some sales job. So I thought it was selling cosmetic, but I ended up selling books. So that's how I got into selling encyclopedias. Yeah.
Yeah, and from encyclopedias, how do you get into assistance?
Well, I think from my journey, I do realize that everything do happen for a reason. So sometimes you just really don't need to overthink, things are basically there, and you just have to go with it. So I was selling encyclopedia, and encyclopedia was a job where it's just 100% commission based. No salary, so you really have to work very hard, and that job basically molded me to be very brave, basically. I was very much an introvert when I was in school. I was the one that, sitting behind and, like your crouching tiger and hidden dragon, where, you try not to get eye contact with the teacher, you try to, hide wherever you can. So I was that little girl. So with the encyclopedia thing, I had to go door to door. I had to be brave and approach strangers, people that I don't know, to basically sell a book, right? A set of books. So one day I was going around from door to door in a office facility in what do you call that? Jalan Ipoh. And I knocked into a door which was my current business partner. He was doing insurance. I was there to basically get some insurance for my mother. And being a salesperson, you always try to get more commission. You always try to take advantage of what you can earn more, right? So I wanted to have more commission from the insurance that I bought from him. So he found that I was very resilient and very gung-ho, and then he asked me to join him as doing medical assistance. At that point of time, I really didn't understand. He showed me a little newspaper article that says marketing executive, medical evacuation, and things like that, which I totally don't understand. But I pretend that I understood because I was trying to sell him my encyclopedia. So we were kind of playing poker. So that's how I met him. And then I wasn't looking for a job. Then a week later, so happened I had a misunderstanding with my current upline of the encyclopedia, and I decided to say, hey, what the hell, I got another job offer. So I just quit, and I joined the assistance company. So that was we were representing a big international assistance company then. Yeah, that's how I got into it.
Awesome.
It was by accident. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what really sticks out to me in that story is that you took your first sales job.
Yeah.
Selling encyclopedia. So it is not something particularly attractive nowadays. Even for myself, when I finished university, my mom actually told me to just go and take a sales job at a bank. But I didn't. I said, oh no, I want to work in advertising, marketing, all that fancy stuff. If maybe I did sales, maybe I'll be rich already. But anyway, but anyway, like what made you, take up a sales job at that point of time?
It wasn't planned. It just happened to have the job was there. The advertisement of that sales job says exhibition promoters. So to me, it's exhibition promoter. So, and in the shopping mall, at most, I guess, it's just promoting some products, skincare, cosmetic, or whatever. Then when I went in for the interview, I realized that it was actually selling books, selling children's encyclopedia. So immediately I was asked to go and try myself out in Subang Parade then. So we had like a shelf, so they had promotion of children encyclopedia. This was a Disney series and things like that. So they just asked me to just hang around there, So I just hung around. So then got the hang of it. It was quite fun. The colleagues was very fun. So then started to learn the trade of sales. Needless did I know that that was just a short-term thing. The exhibition thing was a short-term thing because it was just 2 weeks at Subang Parade. It's quite nice in Subang Parade. While waiting for the customer to come in, I can go and browse, do my shopping, and I was just waiting for my results to get into the university, right? So it was a fun job, aircon and things like that. 2 weeks later, they put us in a van and ship us out to the buildings and say, okay, this building, UBN Tower, you go up to the top floor and then you just visit every single office that you can see. That's a big change, man, from exhibition promoter.
Okay. So for our listeners today, just to be clear what it involves, it is Sharon has to knock on doors, and then she has to tell the office manager or whoever is at the front line and say, hey, I would like to, how will you do it? You will say, I would like to speak.
Yeah,
I'd like to share more.
can I have a few minutes of your time? I've got this fantastic education series that I can show to you. I'm sure you have young children, right? How old are your children? You just try to strike
how do you get past the gatekeeper? So there's definitely a someone sitting in the office, you
Yeah,
know,
the
as a gatekeeper,
receptionist,
and then how do you get to the rest?
I mean, those days and today is different.
Ah,
Today, you can't even get through the ground floor to get up because everything has got secure, right? You have
yeah.
to register and things like that. Those days were a bit different. This was in the early 1990s, so it's different. So
Mm,
you go to the reception and then you just have a chit chat with them, and say, hey, I'm doing this and things like that. Would you be interested? First you target that reception first. Then of course, if they say, oh, I don't have any children, then you go the next step, you try your next step and say, can I, you have colleagues, right? You have any of your colleagues which is have got young children, let me just spend a few minutes of their time and just show it to you. Sometimes you get through. Some receptionists are quite nice. They say, yeah, okay, I know this person, or they call that person come out. Those days people were a little bit more friendly. You don't have all these scams and things like that, so people are really a bit more open. Today you can't do cold calling like that, definitely not. Yeah,
it sounds so difficult. It's very
you
difficult.
become very creative in terms of how do you open the door. The first thing that you need to do is you must open the door. Once you open the door, you must then get the opportunity to do a presentation. Because without you doing a presentation, nobody is going to know about your product and you will not be able to sell anything, right? So it goes like that. So you have to continue to knock. That's why people say, the harder you work, the luckier you are. Actually, is the more people you meet, the higher your chance of landing a sale. It's the law of average. Is the law of probability. So it's basically that. So we have a number where every day we have to knock on how many number of doors, to speak to how many number of people, and then to get this number of presentation. From this number of presentation, you will be able to get a close. So for me, I need to actually have 4 complete presentation to get 1 sale. So you work backwards. So everybody has different selling skills, no? Yeah.
Yeah. It is something very amazing
Yeah.
because nowadays I don't even want to pick up calls.
Yes.
Yes. I feel like why you call me? Even people from friends I know say, why you call me? I don't want to pick up calls. And the thing is with a lot of digital stuff nowadays, that sounds quite impossible.
I know, yes, but
It sounds
it's a good training. Is well, the method of doing it definitely today is impossible. It just doesn't apply in today's market anymore. But the part of being resilient, the part of not giving up, the part about you have to be brave in what you do, that doesn't change. Right, the time has changed. There's no way you can go and knock on a door. There's no way. I mean, for me, those days is morning. We go to the office. We spend 1 hour just do cold calling. Because previously the day before, if we can't see anybody, we always get the receptionist to, we kind of be very nice to the receptionist. Can I get your colleague's number? So they will give us colleague's number and we will call them. We will do the next day, we will do cold calling and say, oh, yesterday I was in your office. I didn't get to see you. Can I come by today and maybe your lunchtime, just 5 minutes of your time, just let me just show you this. This is really good. This education system is very good. So you just try to get that appointment. So once you get the appointment, you go back to that building, you start doing the presentation, and you hope you can, for that day, you do 4 presentations. Hopefully you get 1 sale, So that's morning. Then after you go to the buildings and then you start knocking, cold calling. And then after office hours, what you do is the van will just pick us up and put us all in the van and then ship us to a housing estate. So from the office, you go to the houses. So it's from door to door in the houses. So that's another episode. Yeah. So you become very brave. It's just practice. It's just practice and you become very brave.
sounds good. And I think my question would be, it's a very interesting experience. So what would be, how did that experience help you today now as a leader of your company?
Well, I would realize that, you need to, you want to get something done, you need to learn to open your mouth. You need to ask. You need to go and approach people. right? If you want to sell something, you want to convince somebody to invest in you, you need to basically open your mouth and say what you have, right? So from the sales experience, I will realize that because I've learned, I've got so much rejection. Every day you're just facing rejection, right? Can you imagine going to door from houses? You know, you tell the auntie, you say, "Can I have some?" Yeah, go away, you know, right? And you know, children running around. You say, "Hey, can you call your mommy? I want to show your mommy this book," and things like that. They will run inside, and then you can see them talking to the mommy, and then they run out a little bit and say, "My mommy says she's not at home." Yeah. So, oh, my mommy say, "Ask you go away," right? So you just face rejection. So what? Because to the next door could be somebody who will say, "Hey, you know, this is good. You know, my child is 3 years old. I want to teach her English. Can you tell me a bit more?" And then you get an opportunity, you close a sale, right? So you it's not all bad. So you learn that, you know, rejection from people, different people, doesn't mean that it's the end of the world, because it may not be the right time, it may not be the right people, but you will meet somebody right one day, you know. And then we also have this experience where because the books are very expensive, it's like between 2,000 to 3,000 ringgit. So people basically have to pay installment. So you have to fill out forms and things like that. They pay installment, like, you know, 12 months, 24 months. So you will have situation where people can't pay. Halfway they don't pay. So what happens? We have repossessing team. So the repossessor will go to the house and repossess the book. They have to give back the book. What happened to us who did the sale? We have to give back our commission. Prorated commission we have to give back. So all this rejection and this negative stuff that you have to deal with, after a while you look at life and say, what the hell, nothing, no big deal, right? So you become, I mean, that's basically how I became very resilient, I think. I didn't learn this in school.
Yes, that is that is a great lesson. Yeah, because as business leaders or entrepreneurs, you get rejection a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's nothing compared to what you used to do now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and then moving on to your next experience, which is assistance. So tell us more. I think you, from your appointment with the company, and then slowly you move up, and then eventually you founded a company. Am I right?
Yeah.
With AA International, and from there it grew, and then eventually you exited. So tell us a bit more about that.
Okay, the life in the medical assistance field is a bit different. I mean, I went in because I had a fight, and I, you know, I just is not planned. So that's why in life there's a lot of things which is not planned. So, but what caught me was I like the concept of the business. The business of medical assistance is all about providing help. That's why it's called assistance. So we have a call center where, you know, when people travel, you know, those days when you're traveling, if somebody met with an accident, can you imagine an accident in Vietnam, right? In the 1990s, the hospitals cannot treat what I mean, a lot of things the hospital can't treat. So what do you do as a foreigner, right? Is don't speak the language, and yeah, you can have the insurance. The insurance company say, you don't get treatment, how do I have to pay you? I give you the money, you can get treatment or not, but you can't get treatment. So the concept was to get people, your insurance pays for your bill, but we get you to the correct treatment, because the correct treatment will save your life. Otherwise, that's it, right? A lot of medical condition, like, you know, you have a head injury, there's no way those hospitals can treat you, right? So you have to be flown to the next facility that can treat you. But how do you fly? Right? You can't just buy a ticket. You're all banked up already. How do you fly? You can't, you know, you can't just buy a ticket and go to the airport and say, I want to bring my so-and-so back to Malaysia for treatment. There's no way the airline is going to let you on board, because that airlines only want people who are healthy on board, right? They have a reason to do that as well. So to me, that was a very heartwarming situation, a very heartwarming service that I really enjoyed doing. Is very, for me, is very rewarding, not on the monetary, but for myself, as a person, it's very rewarding, especially after you do a very difficult transfer, and then the family come and hold your hands and say, Sharon, thank you so much. If it's not for this, my father would have been stuck there, and I don't know how to get him out and things like that. So to me, it's very fulfilling. So I really enjoy that business. And then after that, of course, from medical, we start, because we're a help center, so-called help center, we expanded into roadside assistance. So when your car break down, we will send the tow truck and come and either change your tire and things like that. So it's an assistance, it's a help to somebody, because once during a distress, you're so thankful that somebody can help you. So it kind of expanded into that, and then after it went into insurance companies started to buy our services for your medical card, because when somebody is admitted to the hospital, somebody needs to provide the claims assistance 24 hours. And from our medical assistance call center, we're already 24 hours. So it makes sense for us to expand to that, and for insurance company and corporates to outsource those services to us. So we grew that business, and we were able to bring in people, shareholders, which are very passionate about the service. So that's why we were able to grow that business. It's very tough. That business is very tough. My phone has never been off. 3 o'clock in the morning, you'll be like, jump up and say, oh, patient in some Nias Island. Then you're like, oh my God, where the hell is Nias Island? So you don't have the internet and things like, you're going to look at the printed map lah. Looking for Nias Island, so I'm sure you don't know how to read a map.
I know.
Using the Google, the longitude, the latitude, and how to read the map. A lot of people wouldn't know how to do that. So those are the times that you have to, find a way to solve a problem for that person. Yeah. So it's all about problems solving. So we grew from that business. When I joined my business partner, then the one that recruited me from the insurance agency company, his name is Andy. So when we grew that business, and he was the agent, he had the franchise agency for Malaysia. So after 8 years, we grew the business, and a lot of insurance company was using our service, and that principal sold that business. So when the principal sold that business to a direct competitor, I found that I wasn't able to work for the competitor, because now I all the while going to the market, trashing the competitor. I'm better than them, boy, buy from me. Now they are my bosses. So I said, my days are numbered. So I tried to basically see whether I can adjust into it, but I find that it's just not my culture. It's a little bit different, whenever a merger and acquisition happen, things like this, different culture sets in. So that's where I came out, and because of a lot of support from clients, I owe it to a lot of support from clients. Clients just say, hey, why do you leave? Why don't you start on your own? We will support you. I'm like, yeah, you humor me. How I'm on my own. There's no way I can provide an assistance where your staff is in Malawi in Africa. I don't have that kind of network, right? So but I say you can find it. I'm sure you can, if you're there, I'm comforted that you can solve the problem. So that gives me a lot of confidence. And I spoke to another partner of mine another colleague in the company, and say, hey, there's this opportunity. Would you guys like to come up and start something? And that's how we started. So I didn't join the competition who bought the first company, and then I started this company called Asia Assistance, and I started from my apartment, my rented apartment then. And there was 3 of us who started. Yeah.
And then after that, you exited. So I'd like to jump straight to the business
Yes.
side of things. So
the
you
business
exited
grew for 18 years. So we were in that business for 18 years. We were doing very well in the region. We're not just in Malaysia. We were already in the region, Thailand, all the Southeast Asia cities. We were there. We were also in Sydney, and then we were already started a company in Germany, and then we were going to talk to somebody in US, and we're going to connect it as a global company. And somebody came and offered to buy the company. In between, we have been getting a lot of offers. We always say no, not time to exit yet. We like the business, It was never in our head that we would let go of this business, right? So we were growing, right? So but never say no, never say never. the people that came and offered, and when they put the numbers on the table, all the shareholders look at each other and say, maybe we should think twice. So that's how we exited the business. So these people came and bought the company, 5 countries, and yeah, that was in 2017. Yeah.
Are you satisfied with the sale, or do you wish to carry on?
No regrets. Yeah,
No
I mean,
regrets.
I don't believe in regretting whatever the decision is. We have made that informed decision. We have calculated whatever we need to calculate. Yeah, all our shareholders are quite happy lah. So we're quite happy to get out of the business. And looking back, we're quite blessed that we got out of the business 2018, right? Then after that, what happened 2019, 2020. So at that point of time, we had 1,000 staffs. So it would have been crazy if we had to manage 1,000 staff during the pandemic. So our business was very highly reliant on travel business, because it is when people travel that people will buy the travel insurance that has got the medical assistance. So when somebody get into trouble, we are there to support them. So when there's no traveling, nobody buys travel insurance. Nobody needs this medical assistance, right? During pandemic, nobody goes to the hospital. So a lot of the insurance were also being cancelled. Corporate are downsizing. So insurance market are also shrinking. So with 1,000 staff in the region, I cannot imagine. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, thank God. Timing is all about timing. Like I say, sometimes you just don't overthink, things just happen. Just do good, do things honestly, sincerely. There are things that you can't see, but it will come lah. Good things will come if you do good things, I believe.
Yeah, that is such a good story, and not many stories out there. So of success in businesses, but exiting is very good. So I always like to ask people questions about exiting, because it gives them freedom. Some people say, okay, I might have earned more money now, but that time you gave me that amount of money that now I don't have to struggle. So I love these stories. So after that, you got into real estate, as I know, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, this Iconik thing is by accident also. It's like after we exited the business, the company actually bought the building in Icon City. So we bought 2 blocks of building in Icon City because our HQ originally is in Jaya 1. So we were running out of space. So we thought, okay, we need to have another building for the expansion. So we already planned, different department, which department will be in Icon City, which department is going to be in Jaya 1. So, but before we moved here, we did the sale. So we sold Asia Assistance. This building was for Asia Assistance. We sold Asia Assistance. So we own this building. So then after that, myself and my shareholder came and they said, okay, no problem. We own a commercial property. We can just rent it out, right? So we came to this building, and then we renovated 1 floor for our own office, and then we were just operating from there, because at that point of time, we didn't have operating business anymore. We sold off our main operating business. So this company was just a holding company. So to us, it's okay, we just rent out the space, commercial space, but because of the timing, I guess, it's not, the traction is not there. People are just not coming into Icon City. There's so many empty lots, right? So property agents are also telling us we can't find anybody. We can find, but every time people come and have a viewing, they just don't take it, right? So to me, it's like, if I'm reliant on somebody to bring the business to me, I'm not in control, right? So if he doesn't bring the business don't come. How long am I supposed to just wait here like that? Unless I sell the building, but the timing is such that nobody's going to buy, because nobody comes in, the property value just doesn't go up, right? So that was 2019, early part of 2019. And that was the hype of the co-working spaces, right? So just watching the market of co-working spaces. Then I went from one co-working to another just to find out what is it all about and things like that, and realize it's just about property. It's hospitality and it's property. So I came and I spoke to my business partner and say, hey, we have the property, we have the space. Why don't we just give it a shot? Just do a small renovation and build some meeting rooms and some private rooms and things like that. So then what we did was, because we didn't know the business, right? So we need to mitigate our risk. So we started small. So it's very important you start small. So we just renovated about 5,000 square feet of the building. Here we had 20,000 square feet. So we only took out 5,000, and then we were very careful with how we spend the money, because a lot of money goes into the renovation. The thing about co-working spaces is the first amount of money that you're going to invest in is all gonna go into the renovation cost. So we have to be very careful with how we do the renovation, because we are not big funding. I mean, we are from, brick and mortar company, where to us profitability is key, right? So it's all about profit. It's all about not spending too much, so that your profit is there. So we did that lah. We found a good renovation company who understood what we were looking at. We repurposed furnitures as well, because we had a lot of furnitures from our previous company. So we repurposed a lot of furniture, so that, it reduces the cost. And to me, it's also, you are not discarding things like, if you can use it, I always believe we repurpose it. So that's how we started Iconik co-working space. So it wasn't planned as well.
Yes, and I see you do a good job highlighting the community, posting about the tenants at Iconik. So what is your favorite thing about running a co-working space?
For me, it's really about meeting the people. I really enjoy meeting different type of people that comes into the co-working space. Of course, we have our permanent tenants, which a lot of them are SMEs and individual business owner. And I enjoy talking to them and, sharing my journey with them. Is also, sometimes it does help them as well. Because some of them is like, during pandemic, it's like, some of them had just started and they really don't know what to do. So what we did was we actually waived rental during the whole pandemic, like 4 months. We didn't collect rental, because I've been there. I've gone through that kind of startup journey. So it's tough, right? So if we can support, to me, it's like, it's kind of paying it forward, So that's what we did. We created a lot of goodwill with our tenants and our clients, and they became our advocates. Right. So that's why, again, I emphasize the fact that if you do good will come back to you, right? It's karma, right? So our private offices are doing quite well. We don't have too many, but we're not intending to grow very big as well. And we're quite happy with where we are. And of course, now is the event space. We do quite a bit of events. So we listened to the customer. We had the event space that you see in our Facebook and things like, it's the deck event space, which is very casual, very hip, very casual. But we had people that come in and say, oh, you can't do classroom setting, I want to do training. Can you put classroom and things like that? Can you do theater style and things like that? So we say, hey, we have the space. So we open one more floor. So we open one more floor for that purpose. And that was, we started like, 4 or 5 months ago. And that turned out quite well. So now we can offer customers, if you want casual style, we have casual style, networking, casual and things like. If you want proper classroom setting for training, we have that as well. Yeah.
Okay. Heard that. So hopefully, some of the trainers listening will rent the space. It's quite renting a co-working space for training is much better, right, than renting a hotel. They always rent hotels.
It's more cost effective lah.
Yeah, they always rent hotels and things like that. So I there's a lot of co-working spaces nowadays popping up. So like, what is your, let's say, least favorite thing of running, a co-working space?
His favorite thing. That's a good question. I've never thought about that. I mean, of course, the least favorite thing will be when the tenants say, I need to move, right? So I was still trying to convince them, why do you want to move and things like that. And some of the tenants, why they need to move is because they grew, right? And they become bigger. So then they will say, oh, I grew from my business. I found a business partner who's going to invest into my business. We're going to go big. And this business partner has a property somewhere. So yeah, that makes sense for you to go. So I'm very happy for this kind of these customers who are able to grow, and but for us here, if any of the tenants who wants to have a bigger space, we have plenty of space. We can help them grow as well. Yeah. So yeah, I mean the least, the least favorite is, of course, when somebody come and tell you, say, hey Sharon, I need to give up the room. It's like, okay. Of course, I can still sell the room, you can still sell the room, but it's after a while, I mean, our tenant stays here quite long, right? Since day one, we've been having those tenants. So we've become like a family like that. So I make it a point that for new tenants that come in, I spend time speaking to them. So I also want to match to make sure that they will come in and will be, everybody will be harmonious in that sense that you don't have a competing person. So sometimes I do have to let go of certain tenants that is which is interested, because I want to protect my existing customer as well. So to me, it's in business that's very important that you always remember the people who help you start off. There's a lot of people, after a while, they forget their first client. My first client is always, to me, very precious.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Okay. So, and any plans for expansion or new or other co-working spaces?
At the moment, it's just our expansion is just going to be based on the needs of the customer, right? If there is a need for more rooms and things like we get, because now it's very competitive, Bob. Everywhere is co-working space. You know that, right? I mean, and the business environment is such that it's so agile that you can work from anywhere. You work from anywhere and everywhere. So having a office is not the key thing already to a lot of people. So it's very competitive. So we will not expand without knowing that we will have the return, because like I say, the renovation cost is the one that is gonna take up a lot. And then you need to rent a lot of space to make back the renovation cost. Yeah.
Yes. Sounds I love that, because that is a very business centric advice. Renovation costs. I know of even my high school friend who started a co-working space, renovated, spent a lot of money, because of COVID, had to give back the property, and then
when you give back the property, you lose the renovation
cost.
Yeah. I mean, for us, it's at least we own the property and we're still very cautious about it. So, in any business, you just need to mitigate risk lah. So it's easy to say, I get funding, I'm going to grow very big, I need to look good and things like that. But you need to, at the end of the day, the solid ground is actually, when are you going to make profit? Because that's what business is all about.
Awesome. So that is sound business advice. Very sound. Okay, so now let's get into a bit of fantasy. So now I will go to the hidden dragon part of the podcast where we talk about business opportunities, right? So let's say, okay, let's not think of funding as an obstacle, right? So what type of business opportunities excites you today?
Well, for me, is healthcare, because I've always been in the healthcare space from the medical assistance part. So I think healthcare, there's a lot of growth area in healthcare, and especially digital healthcare, right? Digitalizing healthcare services to people. I'm also very passionate about elder care as well. I mean, I took care of my parents. So to me, I realized that it's very important that, there must be enough facilities, enough services to cater for this aged care group, because that, our age, we're going to be an elder community very soon, right? So we need to be prepared for that. So I would like to look at businesses which is within that space. Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds good. So this is where I will also put in my input a bit, because this is fantasy. So I also like to chip in a bit. So yes, healthcare, I agree with you. I stay at this place called the Hub SS2. So a lot of restaurants and cafes down here, literally. So there's this I'm not sure if you know this physio center that I also visit. Okay, so I'm in my
Okay.
mid-30s now. So every time I play futsal, every time I play futsal, 100% now I now I see the correlation. Every time I play futsal, after futsal, I will go and see physio. I will
Okay.
have some
Okay.
problem, whether
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
knee or my hamstring or my thing. And
Careful
I'm in
with
my
those
30s.
ligament
Yeah.
tear.
Yeah. So I
Mhm.
will go and see a physio, and the physio will tell me, okay, do this exercise. And I see the value now. Then also I'm going to get my parents to actually go to physio also. So having
Yes.
said that, this one thing I looked at that was very interesting. The physio that I go to is right downstairs. It's called
Mm.
Constance Co.
Mm.
I actually know them before they were a physio center. They were a
Okay.
gym,
Oh.
but without weight. So before that, they didn't really have a value proposition. And I also told them, I said, yeah, gym. And then their flyer got no photos of the gym. They had they had photo of a restaurant for some reason. So I asked them, so they raised funds and grew very fast. So from
Ah.
a gym, they are a physio center, and I think at least they raise funds a lot, grow very fast. They have outlets. If you go and for the listeners, you search for Constant Co right now, you will see outlet Hartamas. Hartamas has one, Kota Damansara Sunway has one. So grow
Oh.
very fast. And I think it's not really elderly, but it's a need people see now. Okay, I need to go
Mm.
physio,
Mm.
physio.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's something that is growing and something very important nowadays. Yeah. Do you see something similar in as well in or any similar businesses that you see grow that way?
Yeah, the physio world is definitely the physio market is definitely growing. You can see a lot of very established physio
Mm,
centers these days, and people are starting to. I think it's also the exposure, the education. People are starting to realize the importance of physio as well,
mm,
and especially not just for sports. Especially when you talk about elder care, you know, old people when they stay at home too long just watching TV, it's not good on them. So it's always good to get a physio to help them with their mobility and things like that. So
mm,
it really helped, especially like those people who has got like for my mom, she did her hip replacement surgery and she was in the wheelchair for 3 years. For her to get back up to walk, it takes
mm.
it's
I see a
very.
progress every day on Instagram.
Yeah, so that's my whole idea is for me, I post it on Instagram too, is a motivation for my mom, so she knows that there is a progress. She knows that people are watching the Instagram, and sometimes the feedback gives her a lot of motivation as well. So I've seen this, I've walked through this journey. So a proper physio really makes a lot of difference. I mean, a lot of people or at home, I would say, oh, I can get my mother to, shout at her, ask her to go and do exercise and things like that. But it's just different. When a professional come in, they know exactly how which muscle to concentrate on, when to do what and things like that. It makes tremendous difference. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I think there's a huge opportunity,
Yes.
really.
Yes.
Especially, okay, so you might see a lot of physios, a lot of health elder care center. We are in Klang Valley, yes.
Mm.
When I leave Klang Valley, there's hard
Correct.
to find a good one. They will go
Yeah.
Tita. Hard to
Yeah, yeah,
find a
yeah.
good one outside Klang Valley. So like my parents are in Perak, very hard to find a good one. Maybe
That's
Penang, but
true. That's true. And
also
and
there's
all
a
these physio
huge.
centers that your friend and things like that, you should encourage them to expand into
Mm,
different cities as well, because those are the places that people really need them as well.
mm. Yeah, so I also I think recently I went to the um was it I don't I forgot the name, but it's like old folks festival in Atria Atria Mall.
Okay.
They had
Okay.
a seniors
Okay.
festival.
Okay.
So they had performances. So I'm very into music, as you know. So they had performances for the senior people. So only people who are very senior get to go and they get to see performances by a lot of people. And what so I saw they have booths at the site lah. So they have booths. They have the um they have the escalator, home escalator, the wheelchair
Yes.
escalator.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, I didn't know these things
Yes. Yes.
exist. They had the wheelchair escalator, and then they had the a lot of spine stuff, a lot of spine
Mm,
chair stuff,
mm,
and
mm.
a lot of things to protect your back and things like that. And I almost bought the spine chair stuff. I
Okay,
think I will
okay.
revisit and I will
You
buy.
sit a long time. Maybe you
Yeah,
should.
not only me,
Yeah,
everyone today, as long as you are not working physically, you would sit a
correct.
long time. As long
Yes.
as you're not in a bakery or construction, you will sit a
Yeah,
long
that's
time.
true. That's
I
true.
have with me, I'm not sure if you've seen this. This is a laptop stand
Okay.
that it really helped a lot of my friends and myself. Basic laptop stand, 50 ringgit. I used to sell it online. I thought people will
Oh,
buy, but people
okay.
really don't care. Because if you don't have a laptop stand, now you see it's okay with the stand. If you don't have a laptop stand, which is just 50 ringgit to 100 ringgit from
Uh-huh.
Shopee, you will be like this working every
Yes.
day.
Yes. And it will affect
Uh,
here. Yeah.
Everywhere. It will affect everywhere. So
Yeah.
laptop stand, my best 50 ringgit I spent 4 years. Sorry. This laptop stand have been to me to Bangkok, Singapore, Australia.
Okay.
50
Okay.
ringgit lasted plastic, 100% plastic. And I think there is an opportunity there. Like the next thing I'm going to get is the spine relief thing for sitting down.
Yes. Yes. I've
Because,
seen that.
yeah, so I think that is something next, but I don't see a lot of people investing in that yet. I still see a lot of people working. I go to Starbucks, I see a lot of people working like this.
Mm.
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 Before I had a laptop stand, I used to bring around a shoebox. I put the
Oh.
laptop on top of a shoebox
Oh. Okay.
like this. Yeah.
So that
So
is at that level. Okay.
yeah, so that is so the laptop stand I just go and buy from Shopee, maybe give to your tenants. It's just 50 ringgit. You
Mm.
save the only problem is when your laptop is elevated. So I always have a wireless keyboard, as you can see.
Ah. Okay.
So
Okay.
the challenge is your hands will not be able to type like this. So you need to have a separate keyboard, which is fine. So but it's a very big investment. Do you have something for your laptop?
No, I don't. But I've seen the laptop stand.
Yeah, just go and get.
I don't work so much on laptop these days. So
Oh, you work on desktop or?
um, I don't work much.
Okay, that's fine then. That's fine. That's fine. But that's fine. Yeah. But
Yeah,
if you
but
ever do
I know
work,
that that laptop stand makes a lot of difference, and I
yeah.
think the understand. I mean, that's when you're talking about fantasy. As you're talking, I was just thinking that a lot of people don't understand the wholesome thing. You have the physio who teach you, okay, the spine. People will
Mm,
say that. So, but I think there is a business where all these coaches will teach you about training and things like that. There is some. I think there could be a market where people needs to learn about the how to work healthily, right? Like
oh.
simple things like putting the right laptop stand, you have the spine thing and all. As you were talking, then you realize that, hey, these are the things that is important, but a lot of people don't know, right? Or a lot of people don't gel it together. So this could be, maybe Bob, you can start a business like this. This could be a program to teach people how to work effectively and at the end of the
Mm,
day still stay healthy, right?
mm.
I don't know. As you're talking about fantasy, so just
Yeah,
throw.
if you go into it, if I had the money, I would buy they have smart table.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those
If I
smart
go into
tables
it,
that go.
yeah, if I go
Oh,
into it, the
oh
table
yeah.
can go up some more.
Yes.
I'm not at that level yet, but the table can go up. I will stand and work. I would. I
Yeah.
would. Yeah, like I think okay. So my question to you is okay. My thing is I don't go to co-working space. I work remotely
I know
because
you don't.
I am a net person. I'm a net person. So I work 2 3 hours and then I'll go back and nap. So that's why
Okay.
I don't rent a co-working space because
We
I
have
don't.
a nap room, my co-working.
Oh, okay. You have a nap room. Okay, that is very important to me. I don't see in any of your photos the nap room. Yeah.
Okay,
So
my
that
next
is very
post.
important to me because I take naps.
Okay.
So I don't work 8 hours straight, and I don't think anybody is. So I will work 3 hours. Let's say I go. You saw me at Coffee Bean, so let's say I work three
Okay.
hours. Just go steamroll 3 hours, and then I will go back home take a nap, and then
All
continue
right.
and whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't. That's why I don't have a. I don't spend 8 hours at a place.
Mm,
So
mm.
I have not had the urge to get a co-working space. The maximum I go to any cafe is 2 to 3 hours. That is max for me.
You don't need to. You don't need
Yeah.
to. You are blessed to be able to be running your own business and have that flexibility to do this and work anywhere and
The only part where it makes me want to go back to a co-working space is loneliness. I don't have comrades to work together. Every day I go cafe, the only people I see the same is the cafe staff.
Okay.
Yeah, seriously, like maybe you. That is the only reason why I would go back to a co-working space. Is the community. Not
Okay.
really the I need the space, or like I said, I need to take naps.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
it's like as a I also run my business quite lean. So I only have like one contract staff. So I do see the value of community, especially if you say you talk to a lot of entrepreneurs. And you talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and you say you hear their story. So that feeling of seeing another entrepreneur also working very hard is cannot get. That is something only I can get when I go to a co-working space.
But you can always join networking events, right? I'm sure you are a very sociable person, so you can always join.
Yeah, but it's a once a month thing. Like I join MCHAM, OSCHAM, events, and I pay hundreds of ringgit to go
and you
attend their
meet
dinners.
people, you meet nice entrepreneurs.
That is a thing, but to see every day, like let's say last time I was part of a co-working space, and I would say, okay, every week I know that John is a photographer, and I say, okay, wow, he's come to work now, so I can follow his journey, his journey, and then I also get motivated. Oh, John worked so late yesterday. Oh, I also have to work harder.
Right.
You don't get that through networking.
Okay.
You don't get that through networking.
Okay. What about collaboration in your type of business where you collaborate with certain different individual entrepreneur, and then you huddle together and you I mean you're all on your own, but you have this collaboration, so you feel like you have a colleague no?
Maybe lah. That is another way to do it lah. Another okay, so I always go to a cafe near my house here at Happy Mansion. So that's how I meet some people who are neighbors who. Oh, okay. I live in the building where there are a lot of people doing the same thing, so that helps as well.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think one thing I maybe can ask you is, so I met Rizal, our mutual friend, last week. So Rizal has a lot of children. It's a lot of children. Yes, a lot of children.
It would be my best target if I was selling encyclopedia.
Yes. Anyway, do you see it coming together? Because I think one thing that he has a challenge, he doesn't go out to work, is because he has to stay home to be a father. Do you see co-working space and childcare coming together? Like you have co-working and then you have, like I know a co-working space that does this. They also have a division that does while you go work, then you put your children here.
Definitely it will help in terms of families with children. That's definitely something that is important. Of course, your co-working space has to be big enough to have that community. To have, I mean, these are important. Childcare is important. Even like corporates, right? In corporates, I would like to see more corporates to have their own childcare facility so that mothers can actually come to work and still have the children near to them, right? Some organizations do that, and I think it's catching up, which is a right direction to go. Yes.
Okay, a lot of things to think about. Elder care, I think that's in the US a lot of money in that space. A lot, but not to earn money, but it's something important. Something important.
Correct.
The aging population. I think
Japan, Korea, Singapore, these are Hong Kong. They're going that direction. Yeah.
Malaysia not so much, right? Not so much.
Malaysia is very difficult because the culture is such that you send your parents away, it's like parents will be depressed. People will say you're not a filial child, you're sending your children away. But sometimes I can understand that you don't have the facility at home, financially you can't support it, you have no choice but to let good people take care of your parents. Of course, you have to choose the right one, and the right one at this point of time in Malaysia is not too many, right? If you go to elder care home, those are just basically places where you place the people there, and it's different. But now slowly, I think there are a lot of people going into this business as well. I mean, Sunway just opened theirs on top of the hospital. I think UOA has some. IGB also have this type of facility. It's going there. It's going that direction. Yeah. So there are facility out there, but it's still not so affordable at this time. So I would like to see one day that all this becomes, these are basics, where it is affordable. Some countries where you pay a lot of taxes, so these are all there. You have an elder person staying in the house. They send people to come and renovate the house so that your door is wheelchair accessible. There's no steps and things like that. They have people to visit you. They send physios to your house. I mean, that's paying, that's the benefit of being taxed.
Okay, I will look out in that space. Okay, so last question before we go. Okay, so from co-working space. Okay, this is something I consider when I travel. I would look at co-living space. Not easy to find a good one. So recently I was in Singapore, not easy to find a good one. I eventually found a hotel with a cafe. So that is and the cafe was also not functioning. So it was good. I can just sit there and work. So co-living, you think there is a market for it here in Asia? So you have co-living, right? You have the co-working, and then somehow you have lodging also with the co-working.
Well, I've not really studied this in depth. A lot of people have asked me, right, about doing this, because I do have the space, right? Just open up rooms and things like that. I just can't get it in the sense that there's so many property around here, right? In Malaysia, apartments are just everywhere, right? So what's the difference of having a co-living than a few bunch of people renting a property, apartment, and share the rooms? Same, right?
The community, okay. So my example, I give you my example.
Yeah.
I'm looking to go to Bali. So if I rent a hotel or an Airbnb, then I will just be in the Airbnb. So I want to work there. So might as well the work that I'm going to rent there, I can live as part of a community with my own private space, and then just go downstairs and work.
Okay.
Yeah. So instead of renting separate, I rent a hotel, and then the next day I go to a co-working space to work. Might as well I rent a co-living space. You see what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a co-working space that has got lodging facility.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So like not a very good example. Commune, not very good. Commune living by UA, not good. Very bad co-working space, and very bad. Okay, don't say this, but not very good. No, not very good. Not very good facilities as well. My sister stayed there. The internet and the rooms were not very fast. But I see what they wanted to do. So because maybe I'm not sure if it's applicable to KL. Like I go to Bali, I will have to stay in an Airbnb or hotel. So if I stay at Airbnb, you'll be strangers, and then in the daytime I need to work, I will go and find another co-working space. So if both together, I can live with a community with my own private space, not bunker beds, private, and then I can go and work in a public area, in a shared situation. So I'm not sure. So just bouncing ideas.
That can be an idea, because the people are just traveling around.
But then if you do that, you will start another business.
Then
you
hotel already. A community. Right?
You'll become a hotel already.
I mean, definitely there's an idea. I mean, if you probably not in the city, probably in a bit exotic places like the beachfront, the hill resorts, where people can come and stay there for a couple of months, and writers and things like that. They just want inspiration. Just stay there. Fine. Yeah, I think
there is, because now when people travel, they need to work. They need a place to meet people. So why not a place like this? So that's what happened to me. I found a hotel in Singapore. So I'll shout out Yan Hotel. Downstairs got an unused cafe. So everyone come and meet me at the cafe, and I work at the cafe.
So you can meet your connections.
So it become an office.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then got staff take care of my stuff, everything.
Right.
So
Right.
I specifically look for co-working spaces, very costly. But then I found this some good mix lah. Then got cafes next door also that were working. So this is as the new, everyone needs to work now somehow. So so they need to find a place. Hotels are bad places to work. It's very depressing. Very depressing to work in a hotel room or even to go to the lobby,
Yeah.
the lounge.
Different. Yeah. It's different. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
at worst I'll get depressed, so I will leave the hotel and go to a co-working space. So if both come together, might be something.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Thanks for
thanks Sharon. Thanks so much for bouncing
it.
ideas, and thanks
Yeah.
for sharing your story also. So this is, thank you so much, and
Thank you.
please follow Sharon on LinkedIn, and connect with her. She has a lot of content going out recently as well, and a lot of sharing of a co-working space.
Thanks to you, I learned all the linking tips from you.
And yeah, so and anything else we would like to share with the audience before we go?
Well, I mean, I hope everybody enjoyed this chat. I definitely enjoyed the chat. Is Bob, you make it very easy. I didn't know what to expect. Yeah, this was a nice chat, and I wish everybody well. And anybody wants to talk to me about cold calling and knocking on doors, give me a call.
Yeah, you can. If you're in KL, please visit Sharon at Iconik Co-working Space.
Yeah,
And you can ask for Sharon there lah.
the doors are always open.
Okay, before we go, anyone else you recommend to have this chat as well?
I think chats like this would be, when you say about Crouching Tiger and Hidden Dragons, right? Did I get it right?
Mm.
Okay. Well, I think my friend who is an entrepreneur, you saw that I had a show with her. I did a little series of, I kind of interviewed some people as well. Cindy Wong. She's somebody that you can learn a lot from as well about building a tea business. She's from Rimba Hill Teas. I'm more than happy to connect you, and I think she has a lot of she's very generous with her sharing in terms of helping other entrepreneurs to go through. It's tough. There are tough journeys, so we all are very happy to support each other. I think
that's the thing you get at co-working space.
yeah.
You cannot get in networking. No.
Yes. I think Cindy will be a good person that she's happy to share.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sharon, for your time. Yeah, and please follow Sharon. And thank you again.
Thank you, Bob.